Okay, Don, I think you were out since September. How frustrating has that been, first of all?
I think it was very frustrating because at the beginning of the season, well, I know if there's a good time to get a long-term injury, it's at the beginning of the season, but it is very frustrating, because you have expectations of how your season's going to go, and then it gets cut short because of something that's out of control. But it was just important to work hard and come back strong.
Sure. How are you as a spectator?
Terrible. I think it was it was the third game I was sitting in the crowd, and I had people behind me, not really so passionate, put it that way, but just very opinionated on what we should be doing and how we played, and I think I promptly moved. And they realised, and then they came in afterwards and had a little giggle at me. But yeah, I'm not a very good spectator, better on the field.
No, the thing is, of course, everyone's an expert, aren't they? But yeah, I mean, it must have been difficult and frustrating because for one reason or another you weren't getting the results that you wanted at the start of the season, and you just weren't in a position to be able to help. Yeah,
I don't know, it's all about perspective. I think my position to help would have been during the week, and obviously that helps to a certain extent, but obviously not playing is very frustrating. But at the end of the day, we've got a squad full of depth, and the guys that are out on the field, the 15 that are there, the 23, they will perform, and regardless of who's in there or not, I think it was a whole team ethos that we needed to sort out, and I think we've sorted that out, and that's why things are coming right.
Were you expected to play the full 80 up at Sale?
You always have to expect it. I didn't think that they'd make me play the full 80, but I think one of the other guys was taking a bit of strain and cramping up, so I think after about 10 minutes into the second half I had to dig into my reserves and know I was going to play the 80, so yeah.
But you're back in time for Europe, and it really is a showdown now, isn't it? Because realistically you probably need to win your last four, don't you?
Yeah, I think that can be done. We're not out of it. We know what we have to do. We have to come out with all guns blazing and make sure that the things that we can control, or the results that we can control, and if we have to leave it up to anyone else, that we've done what we can do for those things to be able to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't influence the Clermont result, but I mean, it's quite conceivable you could be second in the pool come the end of play at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what happened last year and how we got through, you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, just got to make sure that we're in the position to be the lucky ones to get the results that go our way.
Do you draw strength from what happened last year? Because I mean, that was almost miraculous what happened on the final day, wasn't it?
It was miraculous, yes. But I don't think we really draw strength from what happened there. I think obviously we've lost the first two and we've got an uphill challenge, and we kind of are really looking forward and what we need to do going forward. I don't think we've actually mentioned last year and how things turned out, but that's a good thing. I think it just shows where we're at and what we want to get done.
French teams can be very unpredictable. What are you expecting from them?
Well, I think it's quite hard to predict expect anything if they're unpredictable, isn't it? I mean, you never know. They could pitch up here and just be on fire, and we've got to make sure that we'd match them. They could pitch up here and not be on fire, but at the same respect we could do the same thing. So as long as we make sure that we come here knowing it's a home game and what we have to produce to get the results and do that, then regardless of what they bring, we should be able to get the results.
Thank you very much, Don.
Don, it's a phrase that Rob uses a lot, staying in the fight for as long as possible, and that's really sets it up for you over these last sort of 4 games, isn't it? You've got to go for it.
Yeah, I think we do, and I think there's a big belief in it at the moment. I think we will be going for it.
Obviously, the last few weeks we've seen the good of the attack, and we saw the even better of the defence last week. You're in a good place, and with players coming back, the squad is thickening out. It's very strong, and it's driving you all on, I presume.
Yeah, I think it's obviously creating competition where there wasn't necessarily that much competition before, and that's what brings out the best in players. I think Rob will say that, and I think we're starting to get all things firing, and the way we're training has changed, and the work ethic that's inside in the gym and the smaller things that we may have neglected in the past have all come together. So yeah, I think it's more making for exciting.
And a key to the success of last year was making this place a fortress. It's not been quite like that this year, but we're starting to rediscover it now over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a long way still to go to get back to being a fortress, because that was a lot of hard work and a lot of good results that we had to put in to get that name in the first place. And I think it's obviously been broken this year, but that's something we want to get back. And obviously the results on the weekend will help, but we know that we've got to have a few results before we start getting that name back.
Just lastly, what I always find amazing with guys like yourself, you can be out for weeks or months, you come straight back in. You know, you play a full 80, get man of the match awards. How do players achieve that? You're not rusty. You just seem to just slot back in.
Well, I think it's all a tribute to the team, really, because on Saturday, the guy that everyone's playing well, you don't have to come in and worry about trying to create miracles or trying to do something that's not really in your role. When everyone's doing what they should do and they're doing it well, it makes it really easy for you to do what you do. And obviously, I was doing something right that got noticed by the commentators or whoever gives that man in the match, but I think the team really put in a solid effort, and I was quite surprised to get man of the match after Saturday.
But most other sports, maybe the coach should leave the player on the bench, bring them on for 10 minutes. Rob likes to start you, don't you, when you come back from a... Does that help in a way?
Yeah, I think different strokes for different folks. So some guys probably don't like to go straight back in, and they like to come off the bench and get their confidence, where I always say whatever's best for the team. So if it means that I have to start and play a full 80 and that's what's best for the team, I'm up for the challenge. And if it means I have to stay on the bench and get 10 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah.
The team comes first. So.